Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Blaze. Directed, co written, and produced by Ethan Hawke, Blaze is inspired by the life of Blaze Foley, the unsung songwriting legend of the outlaw music movement that gave the world the likes of Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson. The film weaves together three different periods of time, elegantly braiding reimagined versions of Blaze's past, present, and future. The different strands explore his love affair with Sybil Rosen, his last dark night on Earth, and the impact his music had on his fans, friends, and foes. Featuring unforgettable performances and stylish direction, Blaze is a glorious exploration of the profound highs and lows of Foley's life. This is a 2018-2019 film. Must be right on the limit there. It runs a little over 2 hours. It is rated R. This stars Ben Dickey, Aaliyah Shawkat, Josh Hamilton, Charlie Sexton, and it has a couple other people that you might recognize in it just for a little bit of the movie. The movie's called Blaze. So, never heard of this movie. Didn't know anything about it. Put it in the player and watched it. Had to look up the guy as I went. I usually like to just watch the movie and then, kind of research it. And if I like the music, look up the person on YouTube, listen to him for a week or so. And this was very much one of those movies. I will be listening to this song um, about the light in someone's eyes by Blaze Foley, and I Can Fly Away, I think, is one of his better songs. And so I'll be listening to those songs for a little while on YouTube and everything. I did look him up. Not much about him because he's not really a legend of the music, but obviously he collaborated with and knew some legends that we know: Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, people like that. I can't say I've ever heard of Blaze Foley. I don't know if any of you have, but somebody decided to make a movie about him because obviously he had some influence. So cool. As far as the movie goes, it's okay. It's not prolific music movie like we've been having the last year or two, and it has lots of competition nowadays with all the music movies that we have coming around. But this is okay. It has a basic storyline, very, very basic. That Blaze meets a girl, falls in love with her, has some problems as he becomes famous, and they grow apart. And then the whole music part, he plays for himself, and then and his friends at a local bar. Then one day decides that it needs to grow, and so he moves to more metro area and he tries to get signed. A very basic story. So I was with the movie the whole time, but it did seem to drag on because of the basic storyline. I can't say that it's intriguing the whole time. It's just nice. So I really did like some of the songs, and I like the way that they used them in this movie. I'd say the biggest thing this movie has going for it is the emotion that it has coming out of it. Everything that Blaze has with his wife, everything that that the songs that you can actually understand. The words are really meaningful and they're very beautiful, and everything that these songs kind of mean. They paint out very beautifully in the picture. Like they can make you feel what you're supposed to be feeling. So maybe you can't understand all the words of the songs, but the movie's kind of telling you what you should be feeling. It's kind of suggesting a certain mood. And so I do like movies like that. Mamma Mia is all happy, joy, joy the whole time. Something like one of my favorites, Moulin Rouge, that's very crucial and deep passion, and for Blaze, it's kind of a struggle, and he writes songs about his muse of a wife, and those are nice. And then he writes songs about struggling on the road, and it's all very good. And I think there's a couple times where he just kind of makes up something, just all of a sudden. And if you're going to be a country music star, you should be able to kind of plunk out a melody off the top of your head. And he does that. So I can tell that, that the guy, Blaze Foley, was a good musician from what this movie made, because of what they do and what they have this character, Blaze Foley, do in the movie. So I very much, appreciate the idea of this. I think the worst thing about this movie is how much it does drag. It's very obvious what's happening. It's very obvious what's going to happen, and it's just kind of sad. Some parts of it, because it's just like kind of sitting there, and it's kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Blaze being drunk and drunk and drunk, and it's just, we've seen that a million times. We know musicians that start to get any kind of famous or any kind of money, especially if they already drink, then they're going to get more plastered with drugs and everything. So it's just kind of a typical story, and it's why people make movies, because it's compelling and it's dramatic. But it's also very obvious, and we've seen it a million times. So, it's just hard to watch it about somebody I didn't really know. I didn't really know any of his songs. And so I enjoyed it a little bit. So I'm going to give the grade rating of C minus for Blaze, solely based on the fact that we don't know who he was. Even though he was incorporated with people we did know, that doesn't really matter. And just, we didn't know any of his songs. I don't understand why somebody had to make a movie about him. I enjoyed it a little bit with the music. I enjoyed it a little bit with the emotional aspect of the movie. It was actually pretty well done. But otherwise, it was pretty boring. It's pretty stale along the way. It was really hard to make it to the end. And there's two crucial things in this movie, and they happen off screen. They don't actually show it. So, if you're gonna have a very blunt, very raw, emotional country music movie, and you're not gonna show the two most crucial things that happen in the movie, then that's kind of a bad thing. So, I'm going to give C minus to Blaze. Do suggest watching it. My name's Danny. Thanks a lot, guys. If you enjoy this or any of my other videos, try and give something to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And as always, enjoy your movies. And check this one out. Thanks.